All right, well, it is 12:01, so I'll go ahead and just kick things off. For those of you who don't know me, at least face to face, you probably know my name from the many emails that you get from me, Elise Kuntz, Director of Marketing for ACP Creative IT and Camera Corner Connecting Point. Thank you for joining us this afternoon for our Datto-sponsored event, Co-Managed IT, focusing on what's most important by offloading your day-to-day IT tasks. So for those of you who aren't super familiar with ACP and Camera Corner, I just wanted to give you a brief history as well as overview of our organization. So we originally started in 1953 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, as a small camera retail store, which is where the Camera Corner name comes from. We were a camera store on a corner. And our commuter division, Connecting Point, opened in 1980, which is when we started servicing many local businesses and schools. And through the years, our business has obviously flipped drastically from servicing mostly small business and retail to obviously focusing into mid-market enterprise, as well as still servicing those SMB customers that are near and dear to our hearts. We do have an ACP Creative IT brand as well. For those of you that know us as ACP, we started in 1984 in Buffalo Grove, Illinois. We still have an office there today, as well as in Atlanta, Georgia. And so we merged together the two companies in 2018. So we're excited about all the things that have been happening for us and lots of good changes, some big buying power for our customers, new service offerings and things like that. So really exciting. Just to give you a quick overview of the different things that ACP Creative IT and Camera Corner specializes in, we do have a vast array of information technology services as well as products. So whether you're looking for endpoints or deployment services, logistics, infrastructure, wireless, cybersecurity, like I said, the list is very vast, so we can help you with all of those things. We also do audio visual, so if you need like conference rooms or classrooms, things like that, you know, we have a pretty vast area in our audio visual services that we can offer. We do have business and education, public sector voice services. And then obviously more so what we're going to be talking about today is our managed services division, which many of you know as our NetAssist brand. Lastly, we have physical security. So if you're looking for door access or cameras, vape sensors or things like that, you know, we have a lot of offerings in that arena as well. So a couple housekeeping items before I kick it over to Eric Torres, our Director of Channel Development from Datto. We do have the chat available. If you do have any questions, you can certainly type them in there. Otherwise, if you'd like to raise your hand and actually come off of mute, I can unmute you at any point in the call, and we'd be happy to let you interact vocally with our rep from Datto. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and kick it over to Eric.
All right, and can you confirm you can see my screen?
I can, yes.
All right, awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. I know your time is very valuable. We certainly appreciate that you're spending some time with us here this afternoon. I'm Eric Torres, Director of Channel Development for Datto. I'm one of the Datto evangelists. Past 14 months, it's been all from my home and behind a desk here, but usually I'm out there on the road, meeting with people, talking with you, and I've done some events with NetAssist in the past, and just getting out there and finding out what's keeping you guys up at night, and how can we all help and mitigate some of the risks that are out there, and just make sure that your networks are running and in pristine condition. Datto ourselves, we are the world's leading provider of MSP delivered solutions. So NetAssist and ACP Creative IT, they're the ones that are designing these beautiful networks. We're simply some of the tools that they use in order to do so. We have 23 offices around the globe and data centers all throughout the globe to house data and make sure that it's there if and when something bad does happen. But we're just simply a tool that the experts in your areas are using to make sure that you guys are up and running and taken care of. So the past 14 months, the world changed, and what seemed like overnight. I looking back at it as I was preparing for this event today, it was literally quite overnight. I was actually overseas working with another partner and helping them much in a situation like this. And it was when the president closed down the borders, and I was worried, could I even get home? And what we thought was going to be for 2 weeks, the downturn, the 14 days, ended up being still happening today. And the way that we work has changed dramatically, and in my mind, changed for good. This is ongoing, and it's the new business norm. And here's what I mean by that. You're joining us today through this Zoom webinar, but all throughout my day, and I'm sure most of your days, you're in these conference calls because everybody went to go work from home, or this work from anywhere, a hybrid environment where you're working sometimes in the office, sometimes out of the office, and sometimes from a coffee shop. The implementation and use of Zoom and even Slack to keep communication up, and Microsoft Teams specifically, skyrocketed. It was the shift to working from anywhere that suddenly IT departments were scrambling, because they had to source out these new solutions. They had to implement these solutions, and most importantly, make sure that these solutions were safe and secure. So all of this comes into play. And then we haven't even begun talking about all of the other SaaS applications and moving that on-prem infrastructure to a cloud environment, cloud applications, for making sure that your businesses can run in this new format of how we're conducting business. So when COVID first happened 14 months ago, we sat down as a team and we looked at, okay, what are the various phases that we have here? And phase one was the crisis and how everything just happened all at once. And then that immediately went into a panic. And then it started off sending people from home, closing offices worldwide. And the phase two was about your own employees. Are they safe? Do they have the methods of moving into phase three of working from home? And now it's more about, okay, my employees are safe. We close the doors. Nobody can leave their homes. And now what about the technology? Because business moves on. Business doesn't just shut down. So do we have the proper infrastructure to allow for these home workers to work? And then you start moving into, okay, that infrastructure is available. And ourselves here at Datto, we have found that we're just as much, if not more productive working from home and having these Zoom calls and these Microsoft Team calls and getting our work done and making sure that we're taking care of people. That moves into phase four, which was the clarity on return. And where are people working from? What devices are they using? What applications needed to change in order for us to keep going about our business? And then now finally, and it's been this way for quite a few months now, thankfully, the return to work. And as the doors started opening, and depending on where you're tuning in from today, but making sure that things are done in a safe manner, making sure data is secure, making sure that IT staffs everywhere are prepared for this new model of business that is happening. And then finally, the last phase of, okay, the new norm, going forward. We are going to have remote workers. We are going to have people that come to the office. We're going to need more cloud applications. We're going to need to make sure that all of that data, all of these users are protected, and that we're delivering services so that you, the IT departments, don't have to scramble as much, because we saw a ton of that. You were the shining stars during all of this pandemic. You were the ones that the business owners turned to say, hey, we need to keep going about our business. How do we do this? And I know for a fact you guys are putting in these long hours, and suddenly the average workday doesn't exist anymore. I know what it's like. You guys are putting in the time after 8 p.m. and early in the morning. And if you're like me, you're waking up at 6 in the morning, trying to get as much done before the day even starts. So we know that through our stats, through our studies that we send out there in our surveys, businesses of all sizes need the same help. Whether you're a small mom and pop shop with a couple employees on up to the large enterprise size, co-managed IT plays a role in all of this. Your smaller environments, those are the ones that you may want to outsource all of your IT activities. And then you get into where you guys are, where you have that full-blown IT staff, but you know what it's like the past 12 and 14 months. everybody is inundated with requests and work where your end users are asking for help setting up their home networks and access to this and access to that. And again, making sure everything's secure. Medium and large businesses need the exact same help as that two-person company with no IT experience. And this is where co-managed IT comes into play. We call it co-MIT for short. Now, typically, what I'm hearing from a lot of the people I talk to is they see this type of scenario as a threat. And I'm here to tell you, this is not the case. This is a case where working with in-house IT is the whole goal. And it's working with providers and with in-house IT to make sure that everything is done well and that we are making you shine as the network admins, as the CSOs, as the people in charge of these beautiful networks. Sometimes you do need some help, whether that is end user issues or security issues, or just making sure that business continuity is in place. Medium and large businesses, you may not have the time or the resources. Oftentimes what I'm hearing is it's a one-person show. It's one person that's responsible for all the end user issues. One person that's responsible to make sure that everything is secure, that it's up and running. And that is a huge weight on your shoulders. And this is where we see the largest advancement just in the past couple of years, and more specifically just last year, of how a co-MIT business model makes you shine as that IT department, as that IT in-house expert, because now this frees up some of your resources, some of your time where you can focus on your expertises rather than trying to be a jack of all trades, because IT is evolving at an incredible pace. And my example of Microsoft Teams just skyrocketed in the past 14 months. And companies were scrambling all over. And then we've even heard Zoom, and even at Datto, we live inside of Zoom, and the vulnerabilities that resided within that. These bad guys took one look at this and they saw a gold mine. They saw opportunities for deploying various cyber attacks into these businesses. So security is another major aspect of this, because what we've also found is oftentimes those companies with an IT department, they were less secure than the small enterprises, the small businesses that were managed by a managed service provider. And the reason being, managed service provider outsourced IT, this is what they do. They are specialized in security. They are specialized in remote work and help desk support, and however you want to craft it. But security is at the top of mind for them. So they're the ones making sure that the 100% outsourced networks, that they're as rock solid and secure. Whereas the ones where you've got an in-house IT company, maybe you're setting up Mike's printer one day, or alleviating Jan's user issue on a cloud application, versus making sure that the security is rock solid. So that's what we found. Oftentimes, those with an IT department are less protected than the ones that are fully outsourced. So there's got to be a way that we play these two together so that you guys are able to take care of your customers and make sure that everything is safe and everything is secure. It's about developing that trust with the outside experts. And NetAssist, they're here to make you shine. They are here so that when you go to your staff, when you go to your boss, in front of the boards, in front of the CEOs, the business owners, and you're saying, yep, here's exactly the way that our network's working, and it is running seamlessly. That's all done through getting somebody else in there to assist, another set of eyes to help you and say, yes, you're on the right direction, or let me alleviate some of the tasks that you have. Security is a major concern, and this is no surprise. And as we look at the cyber attacks that happen and the threats that are out there, I mean, they've been happening nonstop. Even the World Health Organization, just last year, in the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a dramatic increase of attacks. And rest assured, they were happening to everybody. Didn't matter whether you were a dog walker or a full-blown IT company. They didn't care. They were going after whoever they could. And then it comes down to training. And that's another aspect where a lot of the co-management that we see, it comes down to building these programs, building these plans, so that we alleviate some of the burden on your shoulders. And it starts with the people. How do you get your people trained, especially if they're working from anywhere? If they could be on the other side of the country, but how do we teach them how to log in and what to be on the lookout for and what to do and what not to do? This is where you can get an expert in here like NetAssist. Even with the processes, where are you storing things? How are they being accessed? And what happens if we do get a cyber attack? If we do lose business or lose hardware to something like that, or have a major outage? Here in the Midwest, it's about to be a tornado season, and these are things that we all need to take into account when it comes to, okay, if I go down, what do I do next? Or I onboard a new user, what do I do? Or I offboard a user. How does all of that come into play? Again, letting somebody else take some of this burden off your shoulders. You may want to focus on that. You may want to focus on security. Maybe you want to focus on the help desk issues and offload something else to help free up some of your time. This is where this model comes into play beautifully. And it's all about the technology behind it and making sure that you've chosen the right technology that is running as it should, and having that second set of eyes just on that network, making sure that everything is safe and secure. This is what you get in that co-managed IT model. Now, we know, and you guys know this too, because you're in this industry, as far as the effects of ransomware and the cost of downtime, and it is skyrocketing. Every single organization is vulnerable to ransomware, to cyber attacks, to security flaws within this, where it's no longer your web developer, software developer, network admin and security expert that can handle everything. This is where we need to start getting experts in here that have dedicated resources and experience in doing all of this, because we know these attacks are happening like crazy and they're not going to slow down. So just on that security side alone, we need some help. And that's where we see a big play here. And I've got some great stats I'll share with you on the whole co-managed IT model and where all of this falls into play. I mentioned downtime. Downtime costs have also skyrocketed. I am dreading for reading the reports from what happened in 2020 and how much it jumped up into 2021. But you can see 486% increase in downtime costs. Now, as an IT department, when it goes down, everybody's scrambling. Having somebody else in there to make sure that it doesn't go down, that is the key. That's where we see the healthy relationship, again, making you shine. We also know that business continuity is a huge part of this. Datto, that's what we specialize in through NetAssist, providing you with resources and tools that if indeed you do get a ransomware attack, if indeed you do have something that goes down, literally you as the network admin can flip a switch and get that network right back online. So let's talk about this lost revenue and what it looks like as far as the market and this co-management experience when it comes to these networks. So we've pulled 1,100 small to medium-sized businesses all over North America. And the information that we gathered from this is quite astounding. And here's what I'm going to share with you today. So businesses are losing revenue, and the pace at which they're losing revenue due to IT, it's relatively the same, roughly a third, 33% across the board, no matter what size. Now, the cost of that is what varies, because if you've got a 5-person company, the cost of downtime is much less than if you have a 300, 400, 500 person company. All of that lost productivity, this is real money that we're talking about, and it's happening to a third of all businesses that are out there. So how many of these businesses are asking for help? We know through our studies that of the businesses that are out there, only 38%, just over 38%, have that entirely outsourced model. They're saying, I want a managed service provider in here, manage my network, and I'll pay you the monthly investment for that. Just let me know and make sure that it's up and running. Now, of that means that just over 71% have an IT staff in-house of some flavor, whether that's a part-time employee, a full-time employee, a full-blown staff. Now, of that 71.3%, then you look at how many of that number are doing the co-managed IT, meaning I have an in-house IT staff, 61% are looking to the outside saying, I've got this under control, but I could use some help. So this is a number that if you would have asked me this 2 years ago, I would have flipped it the other way. I would never have thought that this many organizations are subscribed to this co-managed IT model. And the challenges are, as I mentioned today, security is number one. That's first and foremost. But the challenges of companies, even based on size, they're all relatively the same. Security, making sure that everything's there, and even support, especially when people are working 24 hours a day from all over. Whether you could be a 9-to-5 shop, but you still have employees that are working when they can, because we're this new business model that we're all in, and support and the increasing cost of all of this, compliance issues. Many of you may be under strict compliance laws. All of this comes into play, and suddenly some of these start standing out where you do need an expert. You need somebody that understands compliance. You need somebody that understands business continuity. You need somebody to, like I said, maybe it's just help Mike with his printer issue. These are the things that NetAssist can help you out with. And company employee size versus the IT support groups. If you look at this, we break it down by size. Where do you fit as far as the size of this? And then where are you investing your resources? So most of the small companies, no surprise here, they are outsourced IT only. They're saying, look, I don't want to bother with it. I don't want to, I don't have the need for a full-time network admin. Let me just outsource this. But if you look at that co-managed IT model, this is where we're seeing it, the jump significantly as businesses grow in employee size, ever more the need to have another set of eyes on the network. And companies all over the globe are adhering to this model. Now, this is a stat that is quite shocking to me. So how long have companies been doing this? And if you look at this, dating back even more than 5 years ago, and, dating myself way back when I had first joined Datto, but the likelihood of companies adhering to this co-managed IT model, it was new for them. And like I said earlier, they saw IT providers as a threat to their jobs, and that table has turned, because if you look at in less than a year, this number has grown significantly. Almost 30% of companies that are in this co-managed IT model have just started this. They're seeing the value. They're seeing the benefit of this. They're freeing up your network admin's times. And again, having these specialized people in there, making sure that everything is running smooth. And then let's talk about the satisfaction with the current IT solutions here. So the internal staff, that's the one where if it's solely internal IT, these are the ones that seem the most disgruntled when it comes to that. These are the ones that don't have that much of a positive outlook on that entire network. And this is surveying all of the employees. So how many times have you seen it? And there's even the old SNL sketches of having the IT person come in and just the thought of, oh, the network's down again, or here's somebody to come fix this, or why can't this just work? And then you get into that co-managed IT model, and you start seeing that things are working better, the satisfaction jumps up. And that is where we're seeing the most satisfied people that are using networks, the business, the employees, they're utilizing resources within a co-managed model. So it's all about the satisfaction of the staff, making sure that your networks are up and running, viable, secure, and taking that burden off of your shoulders. 94%. That is a staggering number. So I know I went through this pretty quick, and here's some information. I'm not even aware if NetAssist has read these books yet, but a good friend of mine put together more information on these co-managed IT expectations, deliveries, and written for you, the network admin, the person in charge of making the IT decisions, the business owners. And it's a good friend of mine, Bob Coppage, and he wrote several books, but there's 2 books. If I give a shameless plug, and there's no benefit to Datto on this at all, but this is about forming that alliance, that bond. I don't want your job. I want to help you. I want to make you shine. There is a book that's written directly to you saying, look, here's how the co-managed IT model works. Here's the delivery expectations. Here's some models on how you can implement this and how you can utilize an organization like NetAssist to, again, make you shine. And then here's another book, simple, easy to read. You could read it in less than an hour. This is more geared towards the business owner, saying, look, if you're the one that putting together this big budget for managing the network and new solutions, especially since everybody's working from anywhere, here's a resource you could deliver to the board, to the owners, to the execs, saying, listen, I know I'm asking for quite a healthy budget. These are the reasons why, and here's some information as to help make this decision an easier decision for you. Two very simple, easy to read books. If you want more information on Comet, want some help in presenting these solutions to the ownership, or if you are owners on the call and just getting to better understand how all of this works together for you. Because indeed, it is all about working together. And what we do through NetAssist and Datto, we break this down into a number of different methods to try to, again, alleviate time, alleviate issues, make you more productive, increase efficiency, and making sure things are safe and secure. And number one, it starts with everybody realizing they're a target. Doesn't matter what organization you're in, doesn't matter how safe you think you are. We hear all about the big governments, Atlanta, Louisiana, and police departments all over the world that are getting attacked with ransomware, but it's happening to every single network, day in and day out. So it's understanding that you are a target and we do need some help. It's all about helping develop these processes and procedures and policies in place so that you know exactly what's going to happen if and when something does happen. Again, having that second set of hands, second set of eyes on it, making sure that you are safe, that you are secure, you're protected. And then it comes down to the user training and security and making sure that all of this works seamlessly. It's not something you just buy and do. You have to continue with all of this. And this is another thing that we're finding. A lot of IT departments simply don't have the time to do it. And then you've got some of the basic security measures, password management, number of great solutions that do that, and other solutions as far as the physical security of all the environments, and even home security. That's one of the latest trends we're seeing too, as people are working from home. I'm delivering this from my home, and is my home as secure as it could be? Am I accessing the data as it could be? Again, these are all things that my own IT department, they're remote, but they may need some help as well. Be careful what you click on. Ultimately, again, another security tip. And then the next wave, as far as making sure that we've got all the proper security measures in place, all the proper endpoint security, malware, antivirus, all of that, proper backup solution, which is what Datto specializes in through NetAssist. And then that mobile device policy. How many of your customers are going out there and connecting to the network from their iPad or from their phone? Everything I do from my laptop, I can pretty much do from my phone now. And this produces more vulnerabilities in that network. And then last but not least, testing. I think that is paramount when it comes to helping IT staffs, and how many of you as a staff are regularly testing the networks and making sure that certain vulnerabilities and doors aren't left open. That is a number one thing that a lot of companies are turning to the experts like NetAssist to say, look, I need some testing done on my network to make sure I don't have any holes left open. All of this can be handled in that beautiful co-managed IT model where you develop it, you create it, and you let somebody else help you so that you can shine in front of your teams, your bosses, and deliver that satisfied end user experience for your employees. You are absolutely headed into the right direction just by simply tuning in today to this call. So I know I covered a lot, had some stats, had some things in there. First and foremost, I think you should sit down for a needs assessment, whether that's an introductory call, a full-blown assessment, security best practices, everything that we can do to help. To do all of this, just shoot a quick email, netassistsales@cccp.com. And with that, on behalf of all the brands, ACP Creative IT, NetAssist, a division of Camera Corner Connecting Point, I just want to thank you on behalf of Datto, on behalf of the fine folks at NetAssist. And once again, that email address is netassistsales@cccp.com. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Stay safe out there.
Thanks, Eric. That was awesome. I definitely wrote those books down. Those look really interesting to read. So thank you for sharing those.
Sure, absolutely.
So we've got 3 Sonos Beam speakers to raffle off here. I've got everybody who's on the call, their names in my little cup here. So let's see who our first draw is. Probably shouldn't look in the cup when I do it. All right, first one, we have Mr. Paul Reed.
All right. Congrats, Paul.
I was going to
Did
say,
you write my name for a Sonos? Because I've been wanting a Sonos for so long.
oh yeah, they're pretty amazing. We have them like all over in the store as like our main speaker system. They're so nice.
Yeah.
All right, our next one is Matt Kinnard. Hopefully I'm saying all these last names right. Congratulations, Matt.
All right.
All right, let's see who's next. Last one. Mr. Mark Larson. So you three are our winners. Congratulations. So I'll be reaching out via email, or your account executive will reach out to find out how you'd like to get your speaker, if you'd like it shipped, or if you are doing in-person meetings that your account rep can meet with you. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, we will reach out to you for that. So thanks again, everybody, for joining. We really appreciate your time on this Friday afternoon. Have a great and safe weekend.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Eric.